Welcome back. Yes, that was Timmy Dakolo saying to us, nothing is spoiled for God hand. He said, even if you have spoiled it, God will fix it. And that's what we're saying to you this morning. Yes, we want to talk about self-care and self-compassion. We have a mental health therapist in the house, and she's also a team coach. Please join me as I welcome Eberechi Ona.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be here this morning.
Us. Wow, see the way you're smiling. Well, thank you so much. Let me start by asking you. I hope you had a good night rest.
Yes, I
because
did.
We're talking about self-care and self-compassion. So I hope you had a good night rest.
I had a lovely, restful night. Yes.
Okay. So we are discussing self-care and self-compassion. So what does it mean? Because a lot of people say self-care, self-compassion. How can I be compassionate? Or how can I have compassion for myself?
So in very simple terms, self-care is taking care of yourself.
Okay.
Self-compassion is having empathy, feeling for yourself, and treating yourself in a loving manner.
Ooh.
Like loving yourself.
Oh, like spoiling yourself.
Giving yourself a treat, yes.
I like that part.
A lot of people always confuse self-care, self-compassion with selfishness. That's not what it is.
Okay.
Selfishness is being self-absorbed, focused on yourself, right? Or self-care is taking care of yourself, knowing that you cannot give what you don't have. So I cannot give empathy, I cannot give love as much or more than I have given myself.
Ooh.
Yes, it's what I have within that I can give. So I'm taking care of myself because I know that ultimately, as I take care of myself, I can take better care of other people.
Others. Yeah, that's what it's like saying charity begins at home. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't give what you don't have.
True.
All right, so at what point, let me put it that way, at what point should one begin to look inward and take care of oneself?
It's something that, as a teen coach, in fact, it's something we train and we teach, we encourage everybody from the childhood, because from babyhood stage, the child is completely dependent on their caregivers.
Okay.
They get to teenage and it feels like there's that point where they want to prove their independence. Or true maturity is understanding that it's interdependence. I need you and you need me. So in the process of maturity, every one of us needs to understand, I have something to offer. The other person has something to offer. If I'm able to understand what I have to offer, take care of myself enough, then I can bring it out for the other person to enjoy. As they are taking care of themselves, they can bring out their best. So it's something right from, as long as a child can understand it, it's very important that we start looking inwards.
So, you say, how can an individual develop healthy, let's use the word healthy self-care?
Now, thank you for that word we started with, because I mentioned selfishness.
Yes.
Because it's like a continuum. The balance is that healthy self-care, because there are times when someone now becomes extremely selfish and someone now becomes extremely, oh no, I can't take care of myself, self-centered, and then there's a place where the person becomes completely abandoned, like anything comes, anything goes, anything I see is but healthy self-care is first understanding, why do I need to take care of myself? If I understand that I need to take care of myself because I must give my A game at every point. But it's not every point I am on my A game. So I need to come out with my A game, retreat, have times where I can retreat. It may be short breaks. It may be 30 minutes breaks in between a stretch of work time.
Okay.
It may be an hour break. It may be a day break. That's the concept of why we have something called holiday, a holiday. So it's a day of rest, a day of, to recuperate. That's why we even have sleep, because it's in the time of sleep that your body recovers and is better able. Even when we sleep, there's we call them healing hormones and growth hormones that are poured through the system, and then it just helps the body get back its, it helps you to recalibrate. Your emotions are reorganized when you have a good sleep. So to have healthy self-care must start from, why do I need it? Why is it important to me? And then we can now begin to create the balance of what to do.
Okay, now let's talk about stress and building resilience. Okay, how, at what point, should I put it that way? Like at what point should we start building resilience?
So in when it has to do with stress, stress is your reaction to everyday living.
Okay.
So when you notice that you are now beginning to react negatively to everyday living, sometimes it shows in your physical skin. Your skin may begin to wrinkle. You're maybe not taking enough water. You're not sleeping well, having incessant headaches. There are so many symptoms of, your body is telling you we're burning up. We're burning, just like the car's engine. Maybe you begin to see smoke or there's red light in the dashboard. It's just telling you, check this, check that. Something is going on. At that point, it's time to pack and check. Pack and check.
Before you break down.
Before you break down, because the body will tell you something is going on. Or, sometimes we may have that headache and all we do is we just take a pill. We pop a pill, or we do this and do that. And we're not giving the body what it needs. So stress and resilience, it's like that rubber band. It's doing its work, but there is a time when you need to allow it to come back so that it's elasticity. If not, it breaks. So resilience is actually even seen in your ability to take a break from the pressure of everything that is going on.
Okay, so now let's look at as a mental health therapist, what would be your recommendation? What are the things? Should I call them ingredients?
Yes, okay. So,
yes,
to have a very good self-care, know the kind of thing that relaxes you. It's very important. For someone else, there was a day I think you mentioned dancing, and I really, swimming, those kind of things. Find what relaxes you and engage in such activities. Then some people we don't love ourselves enough to talk kindly to ourselves. So positive self-talk.
Positive self-talk.
Yes, positive self-talk. You can do this. You've got this. You are not useless. Because sometimes
we look at yourself in the mirror.
Exactly, and telling, because these are things you're showing. These are things that when you notice if maybe a friend or a loved one is going through something, you would love them, give them good words, kind words. So be kind to yourself too. Tell yourself those kind words.
Wow.
There are times when you're facing challenges. At those points, what are you telling yourself? Because those are the things that will, strengthen you to move on. So positive self-talk, sometimes journaling, keep a record, just pour out your emotions, process what you're going through, process how you're feeling. Because when we accumulate all those things, over time, just explode. And you're like, where is this coming from?
Just end up in the hospital.
End up in the hospital. So
and I think it's
very important.
Women.
Thank you.
We don't want to go there. But we know what it is.
Truly.
Women a lot. I was telling someone, a lady, I said, when last did you take time to celebrate your own birthday? It has always been husband, children, you run here, you run there. I said, what about you? Don't you think you need to celebrate yourself? Honestly.
Very, very
honestly.
true.
I think we'll go for a break. When we come back, I think a lot of women will say, yes, I need to take myself out. Yes, I need to enjoy myself. All right. Okay. We'll be talking about self-care and self-compassion. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we still have more to dish out to you. We'll be right back. All right, it's good to know that you are still there. Yes, we're still discussing self-care and self-compassion. Like I said to the mental health therapist, I said, women, it's common amongst us. We don't take care of ourselves. Right, she's still in the house. Don't worry. Like I said before, we went on break. She has more to dish out to you. So let's look at should we look at, I just saw skills. Skills.
Yes. So
self-compassion skills.
Yes. So when it has to be self-compassion, there are skills that are involved in self-compassion. Remember, we talked about self-compassion being how you take care of yourself, how you love yourself.
Okay.
So a lot of times we have negative life beliefs about who we are, about life generally, about our existence. For example, we're talking about a woman. We could have that belief that, no, mommy must handle everything. She must be versatile. She must know how to do everything. And some of those faulty beliefs may be affecting our ability to love ourselves. So if we're unable to balance it in some area, there's that feeling that I'm not good enough. I am not worthy of love. I am not. So those are things that we must address, those faulty beliefs about life generally and about certain areas of our lives. A woman can never do this kind of job. A woman can never make this kind of money. A woman is not allowed. So those I'm just using the womanhood because we talked about that earlier. So when we address those things, that skill is actually a skill that you develop to note when those thoughts start coming up in your mind, and then you now develop your own personal, and that's a task I want to give everybody. You can just do that today. Now, say, write 5 things about yourself that if your friend were going through what you're going through now, what would you tell that person?
Wow, that's a good one.
So that's the skill. 5 things. For an example, I know someone that maybe just lost their job or something. How would I encourage that person to know that it's not the end of the road?
Okay. The words
I would use.
Okay.
So can you give me an example? Let me use you. Let's say someone that just lost that. Thank you.
And what will I say? Life. There's more. How will I describe it? I wanted to say there's more to life than you just losing your job. So beautiful things are still ahead of you.
Thank you. So for an example, you now tell yourself, I will call my name, you call your name, beautiful things are still ahead of you. Wow. This is not the end of life. So you see, that thing you would normally tell someone else, a skill of self-compassion tells you to reverse it and talk to yourself.
That's beautiful. There's this mindset people have. I remember some time ago, a friend said she decided to take herself out. So she went to a restaurant and she sat down. So she just ordered for things and ordered, and at a point, the waiter added a seat, thinking that she was expecting some. They always believe that women don't like spending money. There must be a man who is going to spend the money. So at a point, she said, "What about your guest?" The
person that
so she just said, "Excuse me, I came to take care of myself. It's just me." So she said the expression on that waiter's face was like, "Oh, so women can actually come and spend." So because she ate and ordered for this expensive wine, she did all that. So the person was like, maybe there's going to be a guy that is coming, or the husband will soon come to pay the bills. So when she now finished, she now collected, said, "How much is your bill?" And she paid. And when she finished, she just got up and she gave them, "Please take this for yourself." So she was quick, they were discussing her. She came alone. This is the only woman I've seen that will come here alone. So you can imagine for them it's something that is not different.
It's not common.
It's not common.
It's not common.
But we need to do that. We need to
do that.
I tell people, if you don't take care of yourself, there's no way.
Yes.
No way. Husband, children, brother, father, mother, nobody can make you happy.
On that note, when it has to do with self-compassion, it's actually like an energy. When you begin to carry yourself, you take care of yourself, you love yourself enough, it's like an energy you give out, and people are better able. It's like you're training people to know how to take care of you, how to receive, how to treat you.
Okay.
So you see people who don't see themselves as anything, it's just part of what they are thinking. It's part of who they have become, and it gives exactly. And it's like it gives off an aura, and then people can treat you anyhow. So, but when you know who you are, you treat yourself with respect. Like you tell yourself, "I am able to do this. I am capable. I'm a queen. I'm deserving of love." That's part of the skills of talking to yourself. Over time, people begin to see that they treat you. You will notice that they will begin to treat you better.
Wow.
And it improves your outlook on life. It improves your feeling of hope.
Okay.
It generally, because I know we will soon enter how it addresses your mental health, but it improves your mental health generally.
Okay, so let's look at how it affects your mental health.
Okay, so let me give for an example, anxiety. When we're anxious about something, we're afraid that this may not happen. And then you begin to tell yourself, yes, even if you fail at this, it's not the end of the rope. Wow. You can do this. So you see, it reduces that intensity of fear.
Yeah.
Because you're able to push yourself to stand the test of time. So that even when you fail, it doesn't stop you or hinder you from trying again.
Thank you so much. You remind me of a saying by, I think, a motivational speaker. He said, look, success or life is a process. It's like a ladder. You climb ladder 1, 2, 3, you may get to 4 and you fall. And you're going back to the first. He said, what do? You don't just sit down there. You continue. You keep climbing. You may still get to 2 or 3 and there's a shake. That's life. So what do? You say to yourself, you see that top, I must get there. So you just pick up yourself and go. And he said something. He said, look, when you're walking on the road and suddenly you fall down and then you mess up your step, he said, do you remember in that maybe you fall into a dish or something? He said, you look for water, clean up yourself, and you move on. So that's how life is.
True.
Whatever life throws at you, what do you do at that point? Dust yourself, hold your head high,
And keep on the journey.
All right, now let's look at them. Like I said, women. Let's address ourselves. Charity begins at home. A lot of women are guilty. A lot of women are guilty. And you find out that a woman is, before the marriage, okay, you're shining.
Thank you.
Suddenly, after you look like a man's grandma. What happens? What happens to that self-care before you got married? That the man saw you. What's going on?
So one of the things, it's also a myth that, it's like when I was talking about faulty life beliefs that, you put on your A game when you are, when you're still, they're chasing you and when you're still searching or you're in the market. And when you now become married, you now start tying wrapper and looking like a grandmother. It's because there's that belief that you have finally caught the man. So you can now be anything.
That's the time.
That's not the time when you now every day show up hot and ready to face the day. Not because you're doing it for anybody. Remember, I said when it has to be self-care, you're doing it for yourself because ultimately you're helping yourself. Even when you're pressured by life, work, children. I was talking with a client recently and she said that there are times now she has learned. She gets home, once she has settled her children, she locks the door and sometimes she will just be in the room seeing a movie and her children come and say, Mommy, what are you doing? Are you not supposed to stay with her? She said, no, this is mommy time. This is me time. So that's part of self-care. Taking me time. Wow. Have time for you. Sit down with yourself. Look at yourself. Admire. Notice the wrinkles. Notice the stretch mark. Admire yourself the way you are.
Honestly.
Go to a salon. When you take out that time, you go there, pamper yourself, give yourself a treat, spoil yourself with a massage.
Go swimming.
Go like the lady that went out to took herself out to go and eat what she wanted to eat. Do that.
And you're looking good for yourself. You're also looking good for your man. That's if you're married. You're looking good for your man. Because if you don't look good for them, they will look for somebody who is looking good.
Who is looking good, exactly. So it starts from, loving yourself.
Okay, now, general advice before we go. I know you have 1 or 2 tips. Let me call them tips.
Yes, okay. So just generally, loving yourself is one of the most important things. Don't run away from yourself. You are your greatest asset. You, the way you are your greatest asset. So invest in yourself, develop yourself, love yourself, and trust me, that energy you're giving out, you're giving into yourself will be broadcast and people will love you as well.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. Invest in yourself. I love that. Take care of yourself. Most times on this show, at the end of the show, I always say, don't forget to take care of yourself. Because I know that if you don't take care of yourself, who will? Nobody. You need to take care of yourself so that you will be able to take care of, especially mothers, take care of your children. If you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to take care of them. So she has said it all. Please take care of yourself. And we were just smiling and saying it, laughing, but it's a serious matter. You need to take care of yourself because we hear a lot of women drop dead. We hear a lot of women fall sick. Things that you would have been able to avoid. Take yourself out now. Go and enjoy. Spend that your money on yourself. Go swimming, go dancing, go to the gym. Haba, and please stop tying up. My people, let me say good morning, Abuja. We can go on and on when it comes to self-care and self-compassion. Be compassionate. Okay. Look yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself who you are. Make sure you hold your head high. Please walk tall. You are special. Okay. The program is still Good Morning Abuja. I will be right back after this break. Please don't go anywhere.